Hello, welcome to the Collectibles Show. My name's Aaron LaPedis. I'm your host tonight. We have a wonderful show in store for you. We're very lucky to have Mike Peters, the creator of Mother Goose and Grimm. Mike, welcome on the show.
Well, it's great being here, Aaron.
This is great. This is an honor for you to take time out of your day to be on here and tell us a little bit about what you've done in your life. Let's start off. Tell me, how did you get started in cartooning?
Well, it's really kind of crazy. I stuttered all my life. When I was a little kid, I had this kind of stutter. I couldn't communicate. And I found out, though, if I could draw some cartoons, if I could draw, then that was some way I could communicate that people wouldn't laugh at the way I stuttered. And it was a great way of picking up at least meeting girls, because I would do a little drawing and I'd give it to the girl, and she'd go, "Oh, God, that's nice." And I'd kind of smile. She'd say, "What's your name?" And I'd go, like this. And they would go, "Oh, God," but that's how I started. Aaron, I found out when I was with a group of my friends who are all great cartoonists, Jim Davis, who does Garfield, Lynn Johnson, who does For Better or Worse, and Chris Brown, who does Hagar the Horrible. And we were on this interview show, and the lady asked us how we all started, and we all had deficiencies. We all had things that we were trying to overcome. Me and Jim Davis, we both had terrible stutters. Lynn Johnson had a sort of a bad childhood, and she had to go up to her room and invent these little characters and invent a little family that she liked. And Chris Brown had his own problems, but these were all deficiencies that we turned into a livelihood.
It's almost like great guitar players. Most of them are ugly. Oh. And so they can't get a date, so they go home and play the guitar all night and become great.
Isn't that a riot?
And so that's the way you became a great cartoonist.
No, your weakness becomes your strength, which is really odd,
Well, tell me your background. So you started to get interested in cartooning. It seems like the Army kind of took you away for a few years.
Oh, yeah. When my mom, God love her, I grew up in St. Louis, and she had a program called The Charlotte Peters Show that was in a studio about like this. And when I told her at the age of 5 or 6 I wanted to be a cartoonist, she said, "Oh, sure, be one," which is really odd because most parents go, no, you try to do something where you can make money or something like that. But she was singing and dancing in front of thousands of people every day, and she was doing what she loved. And she said, "If you love it, then do it," And that's one of the things I try to tell kids, whoever asks me about, "Oh, God, what should I do?" Or, I say, try to do what you love, even if you can't make any money at it. If you do what you love, you do it well. And if you do something well long enough, people will start throwing money at you. And so that's the way it's worked for me.
Well, but I gotta ask, why would the Army want a cartoonist?
Oh.
Well, instead of shooting at them, do you just throw editorial cartoons at them? Get away, or else you'll end up in my cartoon.
Well, I was just drafted. I was going to be just a regular GI, and in basic training, I started drawing cartoons and slipping them under the door of the base newspaper. By the time I got out of basic training, they made me a cartoonist. I didn't know what they were going to use me for. I was working for the base newspaper after basic training. They let me have a full-time job there. And then they needed a thing called psychological operations, and they needed me to draw pamphlets to drop over, this is during Vietnam, to drop over like Thailand, who were our friends, but it was saying, don't go to the Vietnam War, stay there. And so I would do these little pamphlets. And
so psychological warfare, and you were ahead of that in the cartoon department.
That was me, Of course, I just dropped one leaflet, and it was the wrong color, and they started shooting at our helicopters because the color was red and black or something. And so then the rest of my time in the Army, I just did posters for the GIs that said, "Please wash your hands after flushing" and stuff. That's all I could do.
There's Hanoi Sue that ridiculed all the Americans.
So
you were Vietnam Mike who tried to go up against everybody else and say this is the way to win the war.
Well, I'll tell you, it was a great experience. It made me realize how great it is living at a different country, learning the customs and learning the language and stuff. Then we came back, and I was working for the Chicago Daily News as a staff artist. And then this fabulous man who was also in the military in the war, in Second World War, named Bill Malden, who did great cartoons called Willie and Joe and stuff. He got me my job in Dayton as an editorial cartoonist, and I've been there ever since.
Mike, I got to thank you for being on the show. You've been a hoot.
Oh, you are a hoot.
Very lucky to have you. Mike Peters, Mother Goose and Grimm, thank you for being on the show. Remember, one person's trash is another person's collectible. Have a great night. I'm Aaron LaPedis. Thank you.